Next on the Broadway Show, we're on the red carpet with the megastars of Merrily We Roll Along. Plus, it's good to be king. I'm catching up with the new star of The Lion King and Barry Manilow and the stars of the new musical Harmony. I'm Tamsen Fadal, and this is the Broadway Show. We're all about Broadway's hottest tickets each and every week here on the Broadway Show. I'm Tamsen Fadal. Glad to have you with us. Let's kick things off with another huge opening night. Merrily We Roll Along just rolled back to Broadway for the first time in 42 years, and it features a star-studded cast: Daniel Radcliffe, Jonathan Groff, and Lindsay Mendez. We hit the red carpet.
I texted Dan and Lindsay like an hour before getting to the theater, and I said, I have a pit in my stomach. I have an ache inside of me, and it's because we are bringing Merrily We Roll Along back to Broadway after 42 years. This is such a monumental moment for the canon of Sondheim shows, for Merrily to be finally back on Broadway. It means everything.
For anybody who hasn't seen the show, we go backwards. We start with them in their 40s and end up with them in their 20s. It's full of Easter eggs. It's like a whodunit. And it's episodes. We have episode after episode of their lives, and we're intrigued, and we want to stay with them.
I mean, I think I think you can sell it as a very simple story. It is just tracking the lives of these three friends over a period of 20 years, but going backwards in time. But that's what's amazing about it, is that the amount of life experiences it manages to get into that story, into, I think, what are there, like 8 or 9 scenes, to show as much nuance as they do, and as much like coming together and falling away from each other and all of that. It's really like it's a brilliantly written thing.
Every Broadway dream I've ever had has come true, and then some. Every dream I've had as an actor and as an artist, to get to do a work that's this brilliant and this requires this much skill, and then to do it with people that are so brilliant. I feel like I've hit the lottery a million times.
Barry Manilow is a music legend, and now the new musical Harmony from Manilow and longtime collaborator Bruce Sussman is making its long-awaited Broadway debut. It tells the story of the comedian harmonists, 6 Jewish and Gentile singers who became the biggest music sensation of pre-Nazi Germany. Let's send it out to Paul Wontorek.
That's right, Tamsen. Barry Manilow and Bruce Sussman can't wait for audiences to meet the 6 gents chosen to play the real-life comedian harmonists in their new musical, Harmony. I sat down with all the guys here at the Triad Theater. So happy to see you all here together, ready for Broadway. I have to tell you, Barry and Bruce, I've been writing professionally about Broadway for over 30 years, and most of that time I've been waiting to hear that Harmony was opening.
I'm so sorry. We have too.
Also, guys, I mean, the artwork, you actually get your faces in the artwork, which is that doesn't happen all the time. It looks great. You're on the theater, the front of house. What's it like actually seeing that this musical is here? Any of you?
We went at 9 a.m. on the day that they put the marquee up. And up until then, we weren't sure what was actually going to be on there. And we had this moment of just being like, it's us, it's us. And we just kept on shrieking in glee.
I'll still have times where it absolutely surprises me. I walk down the street, I'm like, oh yeah, that exists. Like, that's there, that's our faces.
And it's still there, like it hasn't gone.
Yeah, it wasn't just a dream.
It is happening.
I guess we're all feeling the same thing. Yeah. Even us old folks, that we're feeling the same thing. This finally is happening, and there's a marquee that says all of our names and pictures. It's actually happening.
It's been a long haul, and everything that could have gotten in our way got in our way. People say, why did it take so long? I think it's the wrong question. The fact is, you know this, every step of the gauntlet could be a death sentence. You could do a reading, that's the end. You could survive the reading and do a workshop, that's the end. And every single one of those steps we survived multiple times. The reason why we didn't lose heart was that we just loved the piece, and we loved the characters, and we thought we want to do whatever we can so that someone goes to a theater and learns who the comedian harmonists were and maybe remembers them. The last lyrics of the show are now, remember the stars in the night. That's who they were, and that's our appeal. Remember these guys, because they were really worth remembering.
Harmony, unforgettable harmony.
In terms of authenticity of sound, these six by a mile.
Eric made us a playlist for, I think it's called Harmony Warm Up, and it's their music. And it's just so unique, and to be able to attempt to emulate that sound is incredible.
I think there's a real reason it's called Harmony, that so many different people from different walks of life with different experiences could come together and create something so beautiful and something that has lasted throughout the course of history, and now I think will forever with us telling this story. I think that is a huge message and takeaway from the show.
And I mean, it's one thing to be able to do all of these things and perform and have these wonderful moments, but it's another thing to like have people that you love that you can celebrate it with too. I mean, that's the biggest thing for me, is to be able to do this and do it with people that I feel like I'm lock in step with, and like our hearts are beating at the same pulse.
We are celebrating another huge opening night on Broadway. Welcome to JAJA'S African Hair Braiding. It's a story of a bustling Harlem salon featuring an eclectic group of West African hair braiders. We hit the red carpet with the stars on opening night.
JAJA'S African Hair Braiding is a comedic yet a grounded telling into the lives and the work of the service people who really make this city breathe, who make this city what it is.
I mean, I know a little bit about hair, but it's great for the culture. I used to work at the Pentagon. I would show up one day with my hair short and then braids down to my butt the next day, and no one understood how my hair grew so fast and overnight. I just thought this was a great way to show people how we do our hair.
I write comedic plays, so I always hope that people come and laugh, you know? That is like the biggest thing. So if they don't come and laugh, I'm like, whoops, I made a mistake. So I've just been thrilled that people have been really connecting to the play.
It's crazy. It's a world premiere, and it's very rare that plays truly premiere on Broadway anymore. So it just means a lot, not only as a black woman directing a story that reflects other black women's stories, but just as a theater lover, a theater maker, a thespian who believes that new stories should be told by anyone and everyone, and Broadway should be a space for new theater.
Broadway debuts don't get much bigger than this. Vincent Jamal Hooper roars as Broadway's new Simba in the long-running hit The Lion King. We caught up at the Starchild Rooftop at the Pavilion.
What is this role like for you? I mean, this is a role that everybody knows and is aware of, from the youngest of Broadway fans to the oldest. What has this been like for you?
It's been really wonderful. I mean, it's a subtly spiritual show, so there's a lot of ways that I feel like I found myself connecting to it that feel very profound and sort of full circle in a way. It was the first show I ever saw, like right when I first got into theater. My mom took me to the national tour that came through Texas, and here we are, you know, years later, and I'm playing the role on Broadway.
That's amazing. How old were you when you first saw the show?
I believe I was like 16 or 17.
So did you fall in love with Broadway then, or was it way before that?
That was sort of my first, like the first time I sort of was like, oh wait, this is like a career that people do. And then sort of found my way into like regional shows in Texas, and then people just word of mouth kind of got me, kept working.
Is there anybody that you've seen in this role that you say like that's, you know, somebody that's helped me craft, who I want to be in that part?
I mean, I've only seen the show the one time that many years ago, so I'm like, I don't think so, which is really exciting as well, because I think that I'm able to bring something new to it.
Oh, so you never saw it on Broadway then?
No, only the tour.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Did you do that on purpose now? I'm
no.
not seeing it. Okay.
I mean, I saw it on Broadway only recently because, I'm doing it, but I feel excited about the opportunity to bring something new to it, and also the creative team has given me room to sort of explore and discover some things that maybe, are unexpected.
Let's talk about another historic show. There's another one there in the works.
Yes.
And you and I both connected on the fact that you were in Puerto Rico with Hamilton. Talk a little bit about what you did in Hamilton on tour and how that really grew you.
Yes, I like to call it my college years. I did about 4 years off and on in Hamilton. I started out in the ensemble covering Hamilton and Burr and Lafayette Jefferson, and then they later added George Washington and King George when I became a standby. And yeah, it was just such a wonderful training ground. I think after you do a show like that, everything else becomes a little bit easier. And getting to go to Puerto Rico with Lynn as our Hamilton is just like such an unprecedented thing. I don't think anyone outside of the original company has had that privilege. And so to be able to stand on stage with him and, it's like, what's your name, man? Alexander. And that's all you would get to hear, because by that point, the audience is like on their feet screaming for like 90, we would like time it. It was like 90 seconds at some points. And you're just like, this is just what life is. It's so surreal, so surreal. I was like, if you had asked me a year prior to booking that show, like, do you think you'll be hanging out with Lynn? I'd be like, absolutely not. What do you mean? Yeah, it's magical.
In Puerto Rico?
In Puerto Rico, well, yeah, so magical.
How to Dance in Ohio arrives on Broadway this November. It's based on the award-winning HBO documentary. It features 7 actors who are autistic, making their Broadway debuts.
The 7 of us can't represent the entire community, but we're representing, this little subset. And it feels like such a privilege to portray these people who are real and who have given us their blessing. It feels so beautiful to be able to do this.
Building momentum, the very beginning. Building momentum, the energy spinning.
On our first workshop we did 2 years ago, it was the first time I had ever seen myself, or such a big part of myself, written into musical theater, which is what I've loved my entire life. And I think it's only grown since then, since we have grown with it, and it has grown around us. So it's truly just so special to be able to tell this story that I think is going to affect and resonate with a lot of people.
Similarly, I was so oh my gosh, I've never seen me this accurately represented in a piece of musical theater. And I was just and I was seeing not only myself, but I was seeing my friends and people I know, and so many people can find that in this show, and that's just what I've found so beautiful about it from the beginning.
When I first saw the breakdown, and then I submitted for it, but only because, I saw they're looking for actual autistic actors to play autistic characters, and I was in the closet, if you will, my whole life, so I was just I don't know, this sounds really liberating for me. And then I did, and then there's just, it's just so crazy how it happened.
I just hope that people can leave this understanding that truly autism is a spectrum. We're all so different. I hope that this is a really mind-changing show for them.
They're gonna have the song stuck in their head. I feel like they're gonna be talking about this for a really, really long time. They're gonna be like, you gotta see this show. You have to see it. It's so good. It's really well written. The cast is amazing. Go see it, please.
For tickets and more info, head over to Broadway.com. This is The Broadway Show. We're back in just a few. Welcome back to The Broadway Show. I'm Tamsen Fadal. Let's get back to it.
New info on the 2024 Tony Awards. The date and venue are set. The annual ceremony is happening June 16th next year. And for the very first time, the Tonys will be held at Lincoln Center. Tony nominees will be announced at the end of next April. Mrs. Doubtfire is headed to a city near you. The comedy musical now on tour, and returning to the title role, Rob McClure, who earned a Tony nomination for his performance on Broadway.
Let's check back in with Paul Wontorek.
That's right, Tamsen. Rob McClure is revisiting his Titanic comedic performance in Mrs. Doubtfire alongside wife and fellow performer Maggie Lakis. I sat down with the real-life couple at New 42nd Street Studios before they kicked off the national tour. You are back, getting ready to go back into this crazy role and these costumes and these quick changes and this beautiful story. So what was it like making the decision to step back in, and obviously this great treat of getting to do it together?
Yeah, it's this weird dichotomy because I've been doing this show for a long time, but actually not many performances.
Right.
Because the universe kept on interfering. We came from the Fifth Avenue Theater in Seattle where we had broken their box office records.
Yep.
We were coming to Broadway with this great advance. We were super excited. And third preview, we didn't even get to open. When the pandemic hit, 18 months went away, came back and we're just starting to build in advance again, and then Omicron came and knocked us out. And so there was a part of me that felt like unfinished business with that show, you know? For as much time as I spent with it, I never really got a satisfying run where I could catch my stride and, you know, and feel like it found the people who needed it when they needed it most. People who come to see tours are enthusiastic. They're so grateful. There's a mutual gratitude when you go on tour. So I'm just as excited to bring it to them as they are to come and see it. And it's nice to get to do it.
Now, Maggie, you also lived with this show.
Yeah.
All these years. Sometimes at home with your daughter while Rob was doing the show, and sort of watched him go through this whole thing as well. What's your relationship with the show? And was this sort of like a role that you were like, wait a minute?
Yeah, certainly.
I can play Miranda.
Certainly, there is like an oddness that they are, you know, a couple. You meet them and they're divorcing,
Right,
but so it's a great role. It's a great show, and I remember when this movie came out, friends who came from families that were divorced talked about how special of a movie it was because the happy ending wasn't them getting back together. Because for so long, that's what it was. The happy ending is the parents separate, like Parent Trap, and you get them back together. But this wasn't about that, and this is a different happy ending, and finding, like, building a new family, and what does family mean. And what's wonderful about it is that even though they stay on their separate paths, there's still love and respect.
Joy.
And and that there's happiness for everyone at the end of the play without it being that, and they get back together.
Right.
You know?
For an extended cut of this interview and others, head over to Broadway.com. We'll be right back.
While the fall season is in full swing in New York, there's also lots to see on London's West End.
Paul's here now with the story.
Thanks, Tamsen. There's always been a hearty back and forth between Broadway and London's West End. Many of the shows that are big hits here are well known to American audiences, and many of our stars find great success on these stages. Tony-winning Broadway icons Bernadette Peters and Lea Salonga are heading a cast of UK stage stars in Old Friends, a glitzy tribute to the great Stephen Sondheim. It just opened at the Gielgud Theatre. Meanwhile, Nicole Scherzinger has started a 4-month run as silver screen goddess Norma Desmond in Andrew Lloyd Webber's Sunset Boulevard. I caught this wildly different take on the Tony-winning musical and was wowed by her dazzling star turn. Meanwhile, over at the Kit Kat Club, Cabaret is entering its 3rd year as the award-winning revival prepares for a Broadway transfer in the spring. Here in London, the ever-talented Jake Shears has taken on the role of MC. The Scissor Sisters frontman invited me back to his inspiration-filled dressing room. Thank you for having me.
Of course.
How's the West End treating you?
It's so much fun. I mean, it's been super intense, but like, been having a blast.
So Broadway's about to get this version of Cabaret.
Yes.
Which is exciting. So what are people in for?
It's staggeringly beautiful. It's very, very unsettling. A super fun night. Eddie did a lot of this starting out, and like everybody sort of adds to it.
It's a growing
thing. You know, Bert Schnicks from Shock Treatment, Barry Humphries, he plays a blind German game show host. And you know, Shock Treatment is a sequel to Rocky Horror. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. And then you just sort of like leave everything up in here for the next MC.
Time I do, just the thought of you makes me stop just before I begin.
Also on this trip, I headed to Birmingham, England to see Sinatra the Musical. This bio show from Tony-winning Broadway collaborators Kathleen Marshall and Jodi Pietro stars Tony winner Matt Doyle as Old Blue Eyes. Hey, look at you.
Yep.
I still got my blue contacts in right now,
Oh
so
my God,
the
this
big
is
blue
crazy
eyes are.
for people to see this.
It's a little terrifying. So much.
Oh my God, you're Frank Sinatra.
Oh my God.
You're killing it.
Thank you.
And this is a mammoth role.
It's very big.
I mean, everybody I think saw you in Company. You won a Tony Award.
Thank you.
Very well deserved. A lot of times in your career, you kind of wonder, like, what do you do next?
I wanted to do something completely different from Jamie. That was like a big goal of mine. I'm usually playing something very nervous and very sensitive, and so to be a loud, confident Italian man is like absolutely thrilling for me. And there's so much pressure and so much anticipation around playing Frank, but the one thing that I'll say is because I was selected by Tina, who's been here every single night and just so wonderful, his daughter Tina Sinatra,
Yes.
I have the confidence I think that I need for the role. She gives it to me every night, and you can't play Frank without confidence. I think my father is more excited about this than when I won the Tony, and I said that to him, and he goes, well, yeah.
Casey Likes plays Marty McFly in Back to the Future, the musical. Check out the latest installment of his vlog, The McFly Files, at Broadway.com.
Until next time, I'm Tamsen Fadal, and this is The Broadway Show.